I've been around for a long time. This is going on my 11th year involved with the organization. In the summer of 2012, I applied for a college internship when I was a student at Colby Sawyer College, studying communications and business. And I came in not really knowing what this all was about. And at the time, Doris Ballard was the executive director. She gave me a summer internship. I was working on editing projects, going out and filming things. That evolved into a part-time role, which then evolved into a full-time role when I graduated in the spring of 2013, and I have stuck around ever since. When I think back to my internship in 2012, I was so engrossed in some of the editing projects and some of the things around ConcordTV that I sometimes they had to kick me out at 5:30 and say, we have to go home, that I was sometimes the last one out. Some of the stories I'll have to save for the tell-all memoir, but something that when I mentioned my internship, I was helping a public access producer do a show called Guitar Fun 101, which was right here in the studio. It was just a guy who was a local guitar instructor. His name's Andrew, and I don't think he lives in Concord anymore. But Doris said, hey, we have this intern. He's gonna work with you, Andrew. And so in this very studio, we would have a couple cameras. He would teach how to play a song, and then in post, I would put in the guitar chords, put a picture in picture. So that's how I learned at the time, Final Cut Express, how to do you have the person standing here, and then you have your guitar chords. And I did not understand anything about music, but I would just follow along with his instructions. And he was one of our first public access producers to put his content on his own YouTube channel, which now we do all the time. It was an example for me of oh my God, people will actually see what we're producing. Oh my God, people actually watch. And that was a really fun crash course for me on working with a client, of building partnerships and building relationships and learning more about editing and producing. That was a lot of fun. Being an executive director in your early 30s and late 20s when I took over for Doris, it's a lot to jump into, but keeping in mind that it's an organization that I have been with for such a long time. So I knew plenty about ConcordTV, but there are aspects of running a nonprofit that I really kind of had to crash course and come to understand and know. Just things for a nonprofit, filing of your reports to the IRS in the state of New Hampshire and understanding those timelines, understanding working with a board of directors, things like financial reports, things like long-term planning are things that I've learned and grown into, because really I came from more of a production background, but my specialty was knowing how things worked at ConcordTV and sort of carrying on the stability and the tradition of what we've been doing now for 25 years. And then I just think memorable experiences, there are places that I've had access to as a member of the media that I never would have thought possible, that I was, basically right next to Bernie Sanders when Hillary Clinton was using the gym here at Concord High School, and I met Vermin Supreme outside of the gym and he was trying to get in. The places I've been able to get access to for my job are really memorable to me. Yeah, ConcordTV is such an important resource because we have the established nonprofit, the established board of community members. Our board of directors are all fellow community members. And that for 25 years, through multiple staff changes, directors, new board members that cycle in and out, we've built a foundation of consistent video coverage of city and school meetings, community events, that we've been able to do more with less often. We've been able to streamline and become more efficient so that we're able to do more with the same amount of resources, sometimes less resources than before. That makes me proud of what we're doing. Our organization allows for it to be reliable and consistent the way that Concord residents have come to count on. My advice for people wanting to get into the communications field, I'd say first off, I think interning or volunteering at a public access station should be required. It's basically cutting your teeth, getting your start. You may not end up sticking around for 11 years like me. What was I thinking? No, I'm kidding. But by getting at least that experience here, what's great about public access media is typically everyone does a little bit of everything, right? You can't come in here usually and say, all I do is edit. I don't do anything else. All I do is graphic design. That's all I do. You pretty much you have to learn and understand every role for it. In the next 25 years, the biggest issue for ConcordTV is going, and for all public access, I should say, is going to be funding sources. That at some point, the current model of cable franchise revenue won't exist anymore, most likely, or will be heavily depleted from its current levels. So in the next 25 years, I would love to see legislation from either state or federal level that helps ensure that local public access programming across the country can continue to exist. We've now moved into the streaming age, but that doesn't make what we do any less relevant. So my advice for people who are interested in getting into the public access industry is run like hell.